Welcome troopers back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing another Studio Series figure review. So today's figure, if you couldn't already tell, is Bumblebee movie Skywarp. So I'm going to be going over a few things with him, including his articulation, his robot mode, vehicle mode, all that stuff. So let's just get into the video. Alright, so starting off, we're going to look at the figure. He's pretty nice overall. He's a seeker. He kind of has that G1 inspiration. This is like a perfect balance between being like G1 and live action. He has that general, like the general shapings kind of, but he's not like the exact same. So starting off with the good old head here. Let me move my camera up a little bit. Pretty nice mold. This is the Blitzwing type mold, meaning it's the one with the little mask instead of the Starscream face. So yeah, Starscream's actually the only one with the face. You also got, I believe these are exhausts here, as well as the good old cockpit kind of going down here. This right here is a faux cockpit, if you couldn't already tell. He also has some pretty long arms. They're hollow here, but that's mainly because you have to put the arms in somewhere for the transformation, which I'll show you later. He also has some cannons on the side. Unfortunately, you cannot really put them on the side of the arms like the G1 Seekers, but you can put them over here. You could also have them hold them if you want. You'll also see where they go later in the vehicle mode. So yeah, they also have that classic like stuff that comes out of the top of the like shoulder area. He also has these things that fold back. You can have it either way, but I prefer to keep them out. He does have a waist rotation, but I'm not going to go into that yet. He has this weird little flap thing. I'm not sure what it's for specifically. I think it's just so it doesn't look goofy. We also have some pretty nice legs. The thigh area is pretty thin, but then you go into the actual like lower leg area, then it's like thick. So yeah, you got all that thickness there. You also have, that's where the that's that. But yeah, pretty nice figure. Let's get a good glimpse at what he looks like. He's kind of an awkward figure to pose in some ways. I mean, he's slender, which kind of helps in a sense, but yeah. The back is pretty nice too. He has two Decepticon logos on the wings. Besides that, though, it's not really significant. But yeah, anyway, let's just go into the weapon next, because I don't want to forget that. Here is the weapon. Pretty nice, pretty nice. You can hold it on either hand. He does use this for his vehicle mode, so you're gonna want to keep this with him if you want to transform him to a vehicle mode. But yeah, it's pretty. If I'm gonna be honest here, it looks pretty ugly, but you know, they do what they have to for the sake of the modes. But yeah, anyway. Let's get into the size comparisons before we get into the articulation. Starting off, we have Bumblebee movie Sunstreaker for our first one. This is this is not another concept art character. This is he's about roughly 2/3 the size of Skywarp. We also have the Voyager being Bumblebee movie Shockwave. Shockwave is a fairly large Voyager. I think that accounts for the lack of like joints and just general articulation. But yeah, he's pretty big. And our last figure is good old Studio Series Bumblebee Megatron. Another concept art character that never appeared in the movie. He's a fair bit taller as well. He's about a head taller, give or take. But yeah. Anyway, let's go into the articulation. Alright, so for the articulation, let's start off with the head, because the head. So for the articulation, it's on a ball joint, meaning you can pretty much have it look up pretty far. You can kind of have it look down a little. You can go full 360, although it kind of, at some points, it kind of gets elevated because there's a little part there on the neck, or around the neck. So it's gonna go up at random points, or at a point. But yeah, pretty nice head. Headwise, you can go for the shoulders here. You can go pretty far back. You can't go all the way around because of the wings. Although you can. Never mind. I guess you cannot. But yeah, pretty nice there. You can go out as well, so that's pretty good. You also have a good old bicep swivel. You also have a nice elbow bend, less than 90 degrees, which is nice. It's actually like, I think it's less than 45 as well. The hands, unfortunately, there's no wrist rotation. You can do this. So let's say you have a sword on him. That's like a nice little thing you can do with that. But yeah. As for our good old legs here, or our waist, you can pull this up. And the figure spins around, albeit it's hard because of the fact that you can't really, like, the wings get really in the way, so it's kind of hard. There is a waist, like, rotation there. However, it's hard to get, like, you can see it moving. It's just that it's, like, impossible to really get in great poses with that anyway. But yeah, and then we also have a good old... you can swing forward. I'm going to make this a little bit more visible here. You could also swing back. It's not as far because, once again, those wings are blocking it. You can go out a little bit. Unfortunately, not too much, though. You also got a pretty good knee bend. It's about 90 degrees. I think it's actually less than 90 degrees, which is nice. And you also have a ankle pivot. Or, yeah, ankle pivot right there. I think you can rotate it too. Yeah, you can rotate it a little bit like that. You can't rotate it the other way, though. But, yeah, that's it for the figure's articulation and just general robot mode. So, we're going to zoom it out a little bit more so you guys can see the full figure. And now we're going to go into the transformation. So, first of all, I'm going to start by taking off these things here. I'll show you where to put them later. So, starting off, we're going to want to push these parts in here. Like that. So, and then bring these little this winglet part out, and then kind of have it like a fully in that mode right there. So do the same on both sides. Then you're good there. Put your the hands back in the area I told you about, and then make sure they're all straightened out. Next thing you're going to want to do, I usually do this pretty early on in the transformation, is I flip the arms around because you're going to need that for later. Next thing you do is you grab the head, pull it back. I cannot say words. And then you're going to want to twist the hips, twist the waist a little bit. So that way you can bring this whole assembly back and then make sure it's all back aligned. So that way you don't have to worry about problems later. All right. Anyway, that's it for that part. So next, we're going to bring these guys out like that. You're going to want to bring the nose of the thing up. Mine's a little bit, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be this curve, but, you know. Then you're going to want to push these down here. You may wonder what to do to the legs. You'll see that in a second. These, just keep them, actually, no, you don't have to keep them open yet. You don't have to keep them open anymore. Just close it and then kind of have it like that. So then, what you do is you bring these up like this, and then you bring them inward, so like that, and then, kind of make sure everything's good, and then you bring them out, you bend them at the elbows, so that, and then you'll see these little spots here for the gun, this gun to be specific. So you kind of align it, and then you're going to want to move it, generally. That's what I experienced, unless you're probably not going to get it perfectly. Like, as you can tell here, I'm trying to get it in. It's being a little bit stubborn, but it's fine, All right, there we go. We got it. Okay, so it should look roughly like that. We're going to bring the wings down now, so that way, you can do all that. Oopsies, I did not mean to bring that out. So for the legs, which is the part that takes up the top of the good old whatever this thing is, the plane, I guess. So we're going to want to bring these parts out here. You'll see that there's a tab here, and then there's a hole here. And then you'll see this little assembly here. Bring it out, and then bring this out there. And then kind of have this just hanging out for now. Do the same on both sides. You'll see this is the side with the tail fin. I'll show you what to do with that in a sec. So then do the same thing. Oops, wrong order. So like I said, do the same thing. And make sure this is attached because there's a hole in the leg and then there's a little tab here. And then you're going to want to make sure these legs are kind of positioned to where these parts are facing up. And then you're just going to want to bring this part out here. I almost forgot. And then you're going to push these in, and then boom, we're done with that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to want to make sure we go down. You'll notice that this is going to be hanging out. So you kind of align it to where it covers the thing, and then you push it down, make sure it's all connected. And then that's pretty much done. Now we just need to close this up, and then that's done. So for the last part, it's pretty simple. It's nothing crazy. You're going to want to grab these things, and then make sure these are facing towards the jet. So put those in on both sides. So just do that, and then we are finished. So this is our good old jet mode. So let me put it back in a bit more focus so you can actually see what it looks like. This is the good old jet mode. Pretty nice looking, although some of the parts are... This top part here is kind of flimsy. It can like easily like kind of separate from each other, but generally, as long as you're not too crazy with it, it should be for the most part fine. But yeah, you have that little gun from earlier now being the front cannon. You got that little nose that looks pretty nice. Although like I said, I think mine's slightly bent. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be pointing downwards like that. But yeah, these things are a little bit intrusive, but it's not a big deal for me. It's just kind of something that's just extra there, which is not a big deal. The actual cockpit itself looks pretty nice. This thing is kind of here still, so yeah. You also have these things that are pushed back now, so it looks a little bit different. And then yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the whole figure. I pretty much covered all grounds. So yep, that will be it for the video. I will see you guys later. Bye.